Bookworms, welcome back to my channel and to another review. Today I will be talking about Mr. Mercedes by Stephen King because I was just in one of those moods where I didn't feel like reading anything. You know what I'm talking about? I start like 5 different books and at page 10 I was like, no, I don't feel like it. So yeah, Stephen King. Here we are. Now, before I get into the video, I do have a little request for you guys. I love reading your comments, whether you're agreeing with me, you disagree with me, you recommend really cool things, you give me a lot of things to think about, and recently I've seen a big jump in comments. This is fantastic. Thank you guys. Every comment really helps my channel. But guys, if you comment on my videos and in this comment you discuss the ending, a twist, anything that might reveal a certain secret in a book, please write in the beginning of the comment that there are spoilers. Just write 2 words, spoiler alert, that's it. It's really unfair for people who don't want the book to be spoiled for them, so just keep that in mind. So Mr. Mercedes's protagonist is Bill Hodges, a recently retired police officer with really nothing more to do in his life now that he retired. But then one day he receives a letter from a person who claims to be the Mercedes killer. You see, right before Hodges' retirement, he worked on an unsolved case of a person who stole a Mercedes car and used it to run over a group of people, killing 8, including a young mother and her baby, and injuring and maiming a lot more. And because this case is so personal to Hodges, you know, something that he worked on but couldn't solve before his retirement, he decided to keep the letter a secret, and instead of going to the police, he decided to face Mr. Mercedes on his own and trying to find out who he is and bring him to justice. First thing first, if what I just described sound like a detective book, I just want to set things straight right from the start and say that it's not. It's not your classical murder mystery, from the simple fact that pretty much right from the start, we know who Mr. Mercedes is, and we spend about half of the book on and off seeing things from his point of view. Therefore, I would categorize this book more as a thriller, because even though we have no surprise of a twist at the ending of who the killer is, we watch helplessly from the side as Hodges makes his investigation. So no, it's not a murder mystery, but it is a thriller, and as a thriller it is very thrilling. You know, the ending was, wow, that was a nail biter. Now, at the risk of repeating myself, I will say what I always say when I talk about Stephen King. I personally think that his books are either really, really good or really, really awful. You know, it makes sense. The guy has been writing for like half a century. But this book for me is, first, it's actually in the middle. It's definitely isn't amazingly brilliant, but I also really enjoyed it. Mr. Mercedes ended up being exactly what I thought it would be, and it was exactly what I needed when I was reading it. Stephen King himself called it his first hard-boiled detective book, and that's exactly what it is. It's an interesting, fast-paced thriller that will leave you at the edge of your seat and is not shying away from some more disturbing things. And of course, because it's a Stephen King book, the characters are so wonderfully well written. My favorite were the 2 unexpected sidekicks that end up helping Hodges in his investigations. And considering that I saw one of these characters also in The Outsider, it was very interesting to see how this character started out. But it's not all sunshine and roses, of course not. It's Stephen King, so it's mostly darkness and thorny bushes. But as much as I enjoyed this fast-paced thriller, I also felt that it lacked some of Stephen King's usual depth and imagination. Therefore, I have a feeling that hardcore Stephen King fans who usually really love his usual style might be disappointed from this book, so just adjust your expectations. Also, ironically, despite me really liking some of the characters, my biggest problem with the book were the 2 most important characters, the protagonist and the villain. Hodges is a cool guy, determined, street smart, even has a little bit of a sense of humor, nice guy. But some of the choices that he made in the book felt really contrived and even baffling. His decision not to involve the police and keep this issue private felt very selfish and even more dangerous, something that I hope a real cop, retired or not, will never do. And some other plot points just felt forced, like they were only there to move the plot along, not because of natural progression or character traits. And then we have the villain. Honestly, he just annoyed me. I mean, I know I wasn't supposed to really like him, but I also don't think that Stephen King had in mind him being so utterly irritating. I think it was supposed to be both menacing and unhinged, but also a tragic figure, because it is his fucked up upbringing that made him who he is. And I understood that, but I didn't feel it, if that makes sense. If I was supposed to be frightened from this unpredictable maniac, I wasn't. And if I was supposed to be angry at his sad circumstances, then yes, I kind of was, but it's still not an excuse. Many offenders were abused as children, and it's very sad, no doubt. But as much as I feel sorry for the innocent children they used to be, I have no pity in my heart for the killers they become. Many abuse survivors don't become mass or serial killers. So just to finish this point, I just felt like we had a way too long a glimpse into his mind, and in that time only managed to do was talk way too much and just annoy me. I felt like I was listening to an emo Holden Caulfield just ranting about how no lives really matter and no one is as smart as he is and therefore no one understands that, and I had enough of that in high school, thank you very much, and I am over it. So let's conclude. I don't think Mr. Mercedes was as good as, let's say, The Outsider or The Green Mile. I just didn't feel the depth of these novels here. But it is a better thriller, you know, better than one of those throwaway thriller that you see popping up all over the place. It was just something good to read while I was having a reader's block. I had fun reading it, even though it didn't really feel like King to me. Was it a nail-biting fast read? Yeah, sure, completely. Was it one of King's best books? No way. Was it a great book? Also no. Am I going to read the sequels? Hell yes. And that's it for my review, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to click the like button. Also, consider subscribing to my channel if you dare, so you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. Also, comment down in the section below if you read Mr. Mercedes or one of the other books in the same world, those series. Do you recommend them? If I did like Mr. Mercedes, I am planning on reading them anyway, but I would like to know what you think. So again, guys, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.